Day 7 of our frameworks course, looking at spiritual experiences can't replace Jesus. Spiritual experiences can't replace Jesus. This follows on very much from the previous two, looking at the impossibility of seeing God through philosophy or through human religion. But this one, in one sense, shows how close the two things we've already been looking at and all these different pursuits when it comes to religious things are to the truth. And it is because they're so close that they're so far. And the key thing with each case is this attempt to bypass Jesus. And this one perhaps is most subtle of all because it looks within us to that inherent light that Jesus has in fact given us, and concludes that his gift of awareness of spiritual things and being ourselves, beings created for that fellowship with him, somehow without him can lead to us having intrinsic access to spiritual truth just by doing certain practices or connecting with something that feels very deep and significant to us. And all of us can be tempted to think in this way. And although the actual experience can be similar to our experiences as Christians, without Jesus in the middle of it, it can be incredibly dangerous. That's the thing that has struck me reading through this study today. There are all kinds of spiritual realities out there, but opening ourselves up to the idea of spirituality is an incredibly dangerous thing, and there's no guarantee at all. In fact, it's impossible for us to access true and life-giving spirituality that only comes from Jesus, from the living God. Ephesians 2, a very familiar passage to all of us, makes this incredibly clear. When you came to that homework, looking at those 3 verses, I think it might be 4 verses, verse 3 to 6 in chapter 2, beginning with a very famous section, as for you, you were dead in your transgressions and sins in which you used to walk. And then verse 3 speaks about how actually our desires, which we never fully escape, warp and change any spiritual adventures we try and go on. We're basic slaves to all the spiritual stuff that has blinded humanity ever since Adam and Eve rejected Jesus in favor of the devil's lies. That sums up all human spiritual exploration without any reference to Jesus. And you compare that with when, as the passage unfolds, the outside work that the Father does through the Son and the power of the Spirit to bring to life again that death that has taken place inside us when it comes to spiritual things. That is how stark the distinction is for Christian people. And whether it's Romanticism or rationalism from the 19th century, whether it's this sort of hodgepodge of Buddhism and spiritual experience, whether it's thanking the universe like we thought about yesterday, none of it will actually get us anywhere in relating to the real God. Only in Jesus do we have true spiritual experience. And then there's this great quotation from Bernard of Clairvaux, speaking about how there is depth and wonder and beauty and mystery to our experience of Jesus, but that is a fundamentally different thing from these similar sounding things that happen without reference to him. Interesting one, very contemporary for some of the chat about spirituality that's going on at the moment. We can be confident that any spiritual experience is not worth it, in fact dangerous, without reference to the Lord Jesus Christ.